What's up, family? It's your boys, your podcast host, Jaheim President with Legacy Builders Podcast, here for another episode. And y'all are showing me love out there in YouTube land. Y'all showing me love out there in Spotify, in Apple Podcasts, anywhere we are screaming Legacy Builders Podcast. Y'all have been really connecting with us, really showing us love, really encouraging me. And can I tell you this? That's so important for us who do this creative space. I mean, it's hard to be a creative and it's hard to be that, but just living in that. Today I really want to talk about the holidays. I really want to talk about the stress that comes from the holidays, the enjoyment that comes from the holiday, but also the anxiety that may come from the holiday. I was just thinking this week. I'm really not in the Christmassy mood. I think for the last 2 years, the end of the year has been I've been in reflection mode. I've been in anticipation mode of the following year. And so and I was talking to some of my friends, when you're not at the stage you want to be at in life, and we talked about it last week, and it's okay not being okay, but you have to constantly tell your mind that it's okay, because we live in that rush culture. And so with not being okay, the society during this time is pushing family. Society during this time is pushing relationships, is pushing holiday cheer, is pushing all this other stuff. And for someone who may not be at the level you want to be in life, you get kind of what I would say in this pressure moment, because you can't really enjoy the season sometimes, is because you're not where you want to be in life. And so I want to talk today to those people who are really anxious about the holidays, really anxious about being around certain families members, anxious about just the holiday, because and not just for being our family members, but those who are recently dealing with grief, those um who've been dealing with grief for years or years. And I want to be very clear. I want you to know that you are seen. I think sometimes in the world that we live in, it is so hard. um it's so hard to be seen, because we everything is grabbing our attention in this holiday season. Everything is grabbing our attention. You're being um you're being inundated by Santa Claus. You're being inundated by get this. You're being inundated by, if you have kids, creating a list for the kids, creating that joyful holiday spirit. Also, if you're in a relationship, significant other, you're anticipating, okay, what to get them to make them to smile, but in the inside you're screaming, do people see me, and do I matter, and do uh, can I take a break from this holiday stuff? And I'm right there with you. I think this holiday is better than last year, because I think this year I am in a better mental state with my life. So here it is. It comes, I swear, at the end of the year, all of this stuff comes at a certain time where you're reflecting, where you're preparing for next year, but also counting the cost of this year. And so you find life is all about measuring shit. We're all are measuring ourselves to other people. We're measuring ourselves to success, where it be relationships, where it be family, where it be career. And so when you don't feel like you measure up to other people, you feel like you don't belong. And so here it is. Family members, when you go around certain family members and you see people who are your same age are having kids, people your same age are people who are older, who you looked up to, and you feel that you not reached that certain milestone. But I want to piggyback on last episode and really say it's okay with not being okay. But can I tell you this? You have to, in daily, you have to find out where you belong. And this holiday season, I want you not to look at what your families are doing, not look at what your friends are doing, but I need you to find out where you belong. And sometimes in life you have to be very clear and you have to be very vocal. You can tell your family and you can tell your friends, I'm not feeling it this year. And I told myself that this year. I said, listen, I'm not feeling it this year. I'm not feeling this year. I don't, I'm financially, not in a bind, but I'm not where I want to be. And so I can't I can't try to outdo people because they're buying gifts. I can't outdo people because they're going on trips. I can't do it. And I had to tell myself last week, it is okay. It is okay, because here it is. It is not the end. Your story does not end because this holiday you're not in matching pajamas. Your story does not end, or here it is. It doesn't mean that it can't happen for you. I think sometimes in life we put ourselves on this timetable, and like last week I talked about this, and so we start to think that it cannot happen for us, and it will not happen for us because we're not on our time schedule. And so maybe you're not wearing matching pajamas this Christmas, but you might be wearing matching pajamas in the spring, or you might be doing different stuff in the spring, or you might be traveling more in the spring. And so, what you have to realize is when life is telling you to focus on you, and when life is telling you that sometimes you have to put you in the forefront. And I think this season, where the season of giving, the season of sacrifice, but what you cannot sacrifice is yourself. And I think that's been a running theme lately I've been talking about, especially in the season of movement. I think some of us are too busy sacrificing ourselves to keep up with the Jimmys and the Joes. And can I tell you this? The Jimmys and Joes may not always have it. And I think a long time, my granny and my granddaddy used to always say when I would watch TV all the times, they got theirs. You got to go get yours. And what I've learned is I'm congratulating people who got theirs. I promise you I am. I'm congratulating people who are succeeding. I'm congratulating people who are winning. But I have to realize maybe it's now the time for me to go get mine. And what that may be saying is that sometimes your process is going to be even longer. And so sometimes you have to really not remove yourselves from the situation, but you have to start addressing your triggers. And so if that family member you have a problem with, don't give them power. Don't stop giving people your power. I think that's a powerful thing. We in this 21st century, we have been giving people more power than they really deserve and what they really need. And so when you give people your power, when you give Instagram your power, when you give a relationship status your power, when you give money your power, I think in the end, it controls your steps and it controls the movement of your life. And so many of us, that's really why we're unmobile. And many of us, that's really why some of us are unmobile in life, and some of us can't enjoy being in the moment or can't enjoy these joyful time of year, is because we have let too many things have power over us. And when you let too many things have power over you, then you have to section off things, and you have to section off people, and people can trigger you with a thought or word. People can trigger you. Money, the lack of money can trigger you with a thought or word. Relationship, seeing other people happy who don't even know you, can trigger you because you have let statuses, you have let other things have control of you. And so what I want you to do this holiday season, what I want you to do this holiday, before we enter this new year, I need you to kind of get your power back. And I need you to realize that it is okay. And I need you to realize that in life, transition does not mean end. And what I really want you to point out this, and what it may be, is you may have to transition yourself out of systems. You may have to transition yourselves out of mindset. You may have to transition yourselves out of grief, out of feelings, out of a memory. Can I tell you this? Sometimes memories can be our worst enemy. What are you talking about, Jaheim? Sometimes memories can be our worst enemy because you start to use lingo like, "Oh, I wish it was like how it used to be. I wish it was like this. I wish my family was like this, like how we grew up." Da 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 da. Da." And that could be very true. I'm not taking that away from you. That could be very true. But can I tell you this? You're robbing yourself of making new memories and making new joyful moments. Yeah, you are, and I've been there. I've really been there where I kept saying this. I had this football picture of myself, and I had a friend, my little brother, Javon Scotty. Shout out to you. He would always say, Jaheim, you got to let go of high school him. And for a while, I and for a while I was holding on to high school him is because during high school him, I was accomplishing a lot of stuff. I was, top dog. I was in my point on point prime of that moment, and then I had to realize I was robbing myself of growth. I was robbing myself of memories. And can I tell you this with grief? For those who are grieving, grief is a process, and I talked about it. You could be grieving things, you could be grieving relationships, you could be grieving moments, but I don't want you to rob yourselves of the moment of living now and feeding what you need to feed. And I think many of us in this holiday season, we're trying to, feed other people. We're trying to feed the loneliness in us. So we don't want to address the loneliness. So we over and compensate it with gifts and stuff like that. And I don't want you to fall into that danger of culture. And it is culture says, you know, culture will have you out here looking crazy. Culture will have you out here thinking that everything is sunshine and rain and all this stuff. No, 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 no. I want you in this holiday season to deal with you, because once you deal with you, you can start to realize and you can start to verbalize what's inside of you and what's destiny. And I think holidays are really tricky in those moments because everything is pulling on you. And so I want you to be very intentional about who you hang with. I want you to be very intentional about who you are pouring into, and I want you to be very intentional about what you're doing with yourself. Because can I tell you this Christmas break, I am not overextending myself. No, 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 no. I don't. That means if I don't feel like going around my family, I'm not gonna go to. If I don't feel like leaving my house, and I'm not gonna leave my house, because once again, routine is good, and routine, creates habits and stuff like that. But here's this thing: just because you practice doesn't mean you're always gonna win the game. Just because you continue to do the same thing and expecting different results, that is insanity. Don't fall into that trap just because my mama them said it, just because my daddy them said it, just because my girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you made it. No, no, no. The point of this month and the point of this last couple of weeks is to reflect and to think about the things that really are beneficial to you. And I know that's so hard, especially in the Black culture where we talk about family, with da 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 da. I get it, but you have to realize what's feeding you and what's killing you. That is so important, because I don't want you next year during this time to continue to live in these vicious cycles that's been having and also these generational cycles that's been having your family, that's been having you, because you want to get along, you want to be along to get along. No, those days are over. I need people who in the words of my twin, I need bracket breakers. And what starts a bracket breaker is you must realize, and you must kind of have that thought in your mind that, okay, today is the day. And can we make this holiday season is the holiday season where you break generational norms. You break generational curses that may be on your family. You break generational things that may be on your family, and you realize that you now have to put you in the forefront, and you can love. What I found so powerful in this last season of my life is you can love people from a distance. Yes, you can. What's the dangers of being in a toxic environment and forcing yourself to be in a toxic environment just to keep the status quo, just to keep. No, those days are over. You have to, if you're not happy in an environment, leave the environment. If you don't want to go with your family for this holiday, it's okay. If you don't want to do this to that, it's okay. Nobody is going to condemn you. And can I be the voice of reason here? Nobody is going to condemn you because it is okay. It is okay to put you in the forefront. It is okay. And I promise you, the same ones that they're going to do the same thing if you were there or not. I promise you, I'm a living witness. My family, if I don't show up, they're going to have the same Christmas, whatever. If I do show up there, you know what I mean? So don't think that you always have to be the main character. Here it is. I'm going to talk about that. I'm talking about the dangers of main character syndrome, and so that, and then for those who are grieving, I think the real thing about this is I really want you to know that it is okay to grieve during the holiday. Don't let nobody say, oh, so and so, yeah, so and so might have wanted you to do that. Yeah, if they were there, yeah, they would want you to pick up. But it's okay to kind of slow down. It's okay to kind of take that breather in, because loss is so thing. And I talked about it. You could not, you could be grieving a death of a loved one, or you could be grieving a death of a relationship or stuff like that. And so you were expecting to be engaged, or you were in a marriage, and now you find yourself in a different norm. And can I tell you this? Different is not dangerous. Different could lead you into, oh God, I love that. Different is not dangerous. Let me say that again. Different is not dangerous. Don't you let people manipulate you into thinking that, oh, just because you don't have a ring on your finger anymore, or just because your loved one is going, that different is going to mean it's not going to be the same. No, it's not going to be the same. But sometimes different can lead you down a path of true healing. I tell you this, losing my granddaddy, it was, hard. It was real hard, but I find myself learning to love the way he loved, and learning to, show gracious to people who may not deserve it. You know what I mean? And I may not. So I've learned to embody the spirit that he has left here in the earth. And so that, and then also grieving relationship, past friendships. I've learned not, and I'm gonna talk about this, the dangers of cut off culture. Not everything has to be cut off culture, but I've learned to, like I said earlier, love them, and love them from a distance, and also know that the people that are meant to be around me will gather themselves. You can I tell this? You're like a beacon light. And what you do is you have an ability to light up the room, those who are listening, those who are watching. And so don't let nobody dim your light, because can I tell you this? People like to dim your light because their light has been dimmed. Somebody has dimmed their light, and they don't know how to awaken the light and turn on the light again. And so don't you force yourself to be in this holiday season. Don't you force yourself to be in a toxic situation, a toxic place, a toxic environment where it dims your light just to say, oh, well, I went to so and so house for Christmas, or just because everybody. No, don't you dare do that. Don't you dare do that. I want you to embrace your light. And sometimes your light may not, people who are used to you sometimes don't appreciate what you bring to the table. Family members, I promise you, I'm a living witness, don't appreciate what you bring to the table. And sometimes you have to remove your light from there so your light can shine in another place. Can I tell you this? Family members are not only the people that you have the same blood with. No, I've found myself a community here in Greenville and none of these people knew me from when I was growing up. None of these people, but they love me in a way. I think that's what it is. Community is people who, I'll have to do a special episode for this week, but community is where you find yourself, and community is people who embrace you and fuels your fire and fuels your light and stuff like that. So I just want you to, it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be in the Christmassy mood. It is okay to find yourself a community. It's okay to find yourself a place where they embrace you and you embrace them. And it's okay to just to put yourself forward. I just wanted you to, you know, to I wanted you to hear that before we enter this week of Christmas and this week of, holiday festivals and festivities and stuff like that. I want you to let you know that you're not alone, that there's people out there. All right, family, that's all I have for you this week. Every Sunday at 6:00, unless we announce a special episode. But I'm telling you, 2025, my goal is to have 50 episodes, and we're going to be bringing on guests, bringing on people. I'm actually going to different podcasts this year. So listen to us, share, like. See you next week.